Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first Kirby and Blue podcast. We are your faithful hosts.
What's going on, everybody?
Now, you may remember us from our Facebook videos,
The Kirby
going back and forth
show.
talking, and well, this time it'll be the same thing, but this time they don't see us; they just hear us this time around.
Yep, y'all finally get to hear us.
So once again, here we are.
Yep.
It is almost the end of the month of November here in 2019.
It is the end of the month of November.
Well, it's not over yet.
It's November 30th.
Yeah, well, we still have some
it's
time
November 30th.
left to
We
go
rounding off.
before we
rounding
December.
off.
Tomorrow is December. Tomorrow is
we
a new
rounding
month,
off just like when I be rounding off my time sheet. Stop playing with me.
Rounding off your...
Yep.
Are you stealing time at work?
I ain't stealing time.
I don't like the way you said that. You answered
I'm
that
making
just
up
a
time.
little
Stop
bit
playing.
too fast. But anyway, once again, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of hard to explain how we got here. It's been quite some time.
Well, if I recall, I was on 76, and then I exit off, what's that, Girard Avenue to the zoo? Oh, how we got here.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. This is going to be a long show, folks. Yeah, I actually want to introduce you to the wonderful world of podcasting. This is actually not my first podcast. For a few editions, I had a sports talk podcast going on YouTube, and I posted it on Facebook. So this is actually going to be one of the first shows that I've done that is going to be more serious in nature. And I know you and I, we have fun when we're together. We laugh and everything. Right. But I think that tonight we had some serious things we wanted to talk about.
So believe it or not, this is my very first podcast. And, just like how I live my life every single day, I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing. So I'm just going to do this how I do driving, just wing it.
All right. Well, actually, it's pretty basic, pretty easy, pretty simple. We're just going to, do what we normally do, sit here and talk. And, they're going to sit there and listen. The only difference is this time they don't see us.
And we're not holding them hostage?
We're what now?
We're not holding them hostage?
Well, we're going to hold your ears hostage for a little
while. Oh, so we don't need a white van?
No, we don't need a... What?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I'm starting to get eerily concerned about you, sis. But I want to start off. I know that we talked earlier this week, and there was something that you had wanted to bring to the table as far as men were concerned, and I think your conversation was about men not getting the hint from women.
Yeah, well, it's not just, in my opinion, I try to focus on both male and female, not just men rejection, but however, one of the things a good friend of mine told me earlier this week apparently is men can't really take rejection. Mm-hmm. They can't take it at all. They don't take it very well at all. I feel as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about it. I really haven't done much research. I don't even know from experience and witnessing, but I feel as though men tend to take rejection bad as far as mental wise, and women take it badly as far as emotional wise, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. Something did just pop up. Came across, to my attention earlier today, and I definitely want to get into that conversation. But we spoke last week. We actually were supposed to get together last week and do this, but as usual, you forgot.
I got off work. And
I am going to start sending you yellow ribbon gifts so that you remember to do things, because you have a tendency to get very absent-minded on me But in actuality, it ends up working out for the best
Trying to remember how I got home yesterday.
I don't. How much drinking have you been doing lately?
What's today? Saturday, right?
Have you lost track? She's
okay.
losing track of time and space. But my what I wanted to speak about was pretty serious in nature, and it was about hold on one second. It was about men and mental health issues, and just the prevailing thought process that men having emotions or dealing with their mental health is seen, especially in the black community, among black men, is seen as a negative. It's seen as, oh, why you being emotional? Why you all emotional? It just seems that it's difficult, for men to compartmentalize that. And if you look at it, the suicide rate numbers among men is shooting through the roof. You're hearing more about mental health issues now among black men than then, because we all somewhere in our family we all had that one relative who was off in the distance, the crazy uncle, the crazy
just
cousin. One? No, I'm not saying just one, but I'm saying, among families, there was always that one family member who, was crazy. And,
right.
Obviously nobody can see it. I just did air quotes around the word crazy. So I find myself, having dealt with, my own personal mental health issues, wondering, why is that such a stigma? Why is that seen as such a sign of weakness? I mean, we just saw it this past Sunday. Player for the Philadelphia Eagles, Brandon Brooks, came out of the game. He came out of the game because he had an anxiety attack. And I think people hear that and they think, oh, well, it's just anxiety. Get over
it. It really, considering this is coming from someone myself who actually who actually has anxiety. Right about now, I actually, just to open up with you guys, not scared. So I've been going to therapy, and I've actually scored high in level with PTSD and anxiety. So a lot of people, when they just hear anxiety, they think someone is just thinking, paranoia, and that's not the case at all. It does really affect you mentally, and it also really affects you physically as well. Once it starts affecting you mentally, the physical follows after. And it's really, everyone deals with it, or everyone, they react or respond differently. Just think about it. If the person was driving and they start having an anxiety attack and you're in their passenger seat, you want that person to keep driving, or do you want that person to pull over? Me personally, if someone's having an anxiety attack, they can't think straight. Their mind is racing all over the place right now. Their chest probably feels constricted like an elephant's on it. They need to pull over. They need to, get out of that seat, and they need to bring themselves back down. So I actually applaud that player for taking himself out of the game. And honestly, I feel like anyone who feels as though he shouldn't have done that, or who's being ridiculous, then perhaps they need to sit themselves down, because that's just like really inconsiderate. I actually would like to see more of our black men to open up more about their mental health issues and so forth. It seems as though for years, for generations, they were taught to man up, don't let them see you cry, or so forth. Boys don't cry, girls cry. And I never really did like that, because it's like you're holding it in, the anger, the hurt, the frustration, the stress, the overwhelming, and eventually holding all of that in, your body starts to break down and it turns into self harm. Rather, constant drinking, rather it's constant drinking, constant eating or not eating at all, or constant smoking, even having constant sex, sexual intercourse with multiple partners all the time and so forth. That could be self harm, and nobody really knows that. And, you know, a lot of us as women, you know, we won't even know that about our men. We just have to, unfortunately, feel as though in some cases you just got to be observant, observe things and so forth.
Well, one thing I can say, as far as, just touching basically on, the whole man up thing. I think it's pretty much indoctrinated in, among our community that, showing emotions is a female thing. That's a female trait. Like having emotions makes you less than a man. Having feelings makes you less than. So you kind of, this is almost how it gets started because you wall yourself up, you wall yourself in, and you insulate yourself from feelings, and it becomes dangerous. It becomes because now you don't know how to deal with anger. You don't know how to deal with hurt. You don't know how to deal with just sadness. Mm-hmm. And another thing, like people who don't understand what an anxiety attack feels like, I can tell you from experience, an anxiety attack feels almost as if you are dying. It feels like death. Like your body is giving off all of the signs that a person who may be having a heart attack would be having. Your chest hurts, you can't breathe, everything is it just feels like you're trapped and you want to run, but you can't. And it becomes physically, disabling to even so much as be able to speak about what it is that you're feeling. All you know is something's wrong here and I can't get it together. It's deeper than a situation where normal life situations you can, step back, take a deep breath, meditate a little and push forward. Mm-hmm. When it gets to the point where you're having an attack or an episode, it's not as simple as just I'll take a couple of deep breaths and I'll be okay. You're almost frozen. You're almost stuck, and it's scary. It can be a very scary thing. Now, you and I talked, about there being a time where, you and a couple of other, friends would come see me, and I just seemed like I was off in some distant place. Like I was existing, but I was just there. And that was at a point in my life where I was, at one of the lowest points I'd ever been at. And it wasn't something that I felt like I could, easily verbalize to you guys and say, hey, listen, like I'm going through it. But I think all of you knew something was wrong. But to what extent, it was up to me to open up and let you guys in and say, hey, this is what's wrong. But it's difficult. It's difficult to sit back and say, hey, look, this is what's going on with me. And especially at a point where you are everybody's, rock. Everybody, comes to you. Everybody, when they're feeling something, they come to you and, hey, listen. So it's like, all right, now I'm trying to help you deal, but also I'm trying to deal with my own set of BS over here as well. So, it's hard. It's hard. I think you may have seen me say, what does the world do when Superman decides he's had enough?
I think it's pretty safe to say that the world is doomed if Superman says he's had enough. Which I can honestly say that's definitely equivalent to when if you say you've had enough. Mm-hmm. Like nobody, you can't see us, But sometimes I make fun of him about this. So Kirby has this face. I call it the face. Um,
That's wrong.
That's
so
the thing
wrong.
is, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I said it's this face where he stares at you blankly, and it's like that level of anger where it's just silent, like no point of return. He's not yelling, he's not shouting, he ain't airing you out. What he'll do is after he gives you the face, he'll just like clap his hands, look at you like, you know what, you right, you got it, and then just walk away. And at that point, that's where it's just like, we are all going to die now.
Yeah, I can admit to that.
No, but no, it's just in addition to what you're saying, the one thing I've come to realize, and also I thought about, is in my opinion, I have a theory. One of the reasons why it's hard for men to talk about their mental health issues also sometimes it does involve us as women, preferably black women, or so forth. Now, ladies, gentlemen, don't get mad at me for what I'm about to say, and so forth. But how many times, or have you ever witnessed or incidents where a female is putting a man down?
Right.
And it really does kind of hurt and so forth. I feel like, unfortunately, it's like this ongoing cycle that needs to be broken. And some people just don't want to break it, or they don't know how. Whereas us as women, we were told to sometimes hold our tongues of things because, we don't want to hurt the man's pride. You don't want to hurt his pride. You don't want to say things that you can't take back, which is totally understandable. But then at the same time, we're getting shots taken at by our men, and we're trying our best not to go there, but we keep getting shots taken at us to the point where we just snap and we say things on our mind. We say things how we feel, and it's not our intentions to like want to put the man down or to hurt him or so forth. It's just that you keep going at me, and we're already dealing with enough. And I feel like it goes in both ways. It's just like a cycle. We don't, we want our men to open up to us, to express to us, and so forth. And this isn't to like use it against them or anything.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because you know what? That is, I think that is a man's biggest fear when it comes to opening up to, their woman. The fear that, if I speak to you about what it is I'm going through right now, it's going to come up at a later date. And that's going to be used as ammo against me. Like I will talk to you about something that was really bothering me, may not have had anything to do with you. And in the moment we get into an argument, it pops up. Oh, well, you wasn't saying that when, like, now, see, now you're going, like, that makes it even more difficult to want to open up. But I think that comes in situations where those lines of communication aren't open the way that they should be. Because if you truly trust the person that you're with, then you should know that anything like that will not pop back up as ammo against you to, take a chip at your pride and at your, just at your manliness. Because, a woman who is really into you, who is really with you, will not use anything like that as leverage to, hold you down and make a bad situation worse.
Right. And again, it should really go both ways. Like, fellas, I think women, we handle it differently. Like, when we tell our men certain things and everything and so forth, and we trust them with it. We trust that they won't throw it back in our face, or we trust that they won't hurt us,
Mm-hmm.
like the way that we've been hurt, in the past and so forth. So when it happens, like this is one thing I've always said, I've come to learn to say. I don't trust words, I don't even trust actions, but I will never ever doubt a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start seeing something, if I notice something, I'm going to be more observant, like, okay, that's a little bit weird. But then when I start noticing it again and again and again, yeah, something's got to get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like with men, don't use those things against us and so forth, because for us, it's like we won't get upset. I'm not gonna say that we'll get upset, but us as women, we do break down. We will break down. We will go back into this shell to the point where we don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Like we want to talk to you, but we're just so fed up and tired of it, and we don't want to risk getting into an argument. We don't want to risk saying things that will hurt you, or that might hurt you, or that might offend you. So we keep it to ourselves. And then what comes after that is we're keeping so much things that we find offensive, so many things that's really bothering us. We keep it to ourselves so much, it's literally eating us up alive, and we gotta find an outlet. Rather it's talking to someone else, rather it's venting. And unfortunately, for some relationships with some women, they go out and they commit infidelity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what ends up happening is, truth be told, I know that there's this stigma that, men cheat, for physical reasons and women cheat for emotional reasons. And I want to say, that myth is partially true, but at the same time, men also cheat for emotional reasons and women also cheat for physical reasons. But, you know, when when that it becomes the thing that breaks down in a relationship, communication, and then just this feeling of what am I doing here? That opens the door for a lot of extra stuff to come into play. But the one thing I want to say, to any man out here listening to what I'm saying right now, if you need to talk to someone about whatever it is that you're going through. I don't care, relative, you know, your significant other, or a professional, because holding on to that much hurt, that much anger, and repressing it, it comes out, and it comes out on the people who you care about and love the most. It comes out on them, and it comes out at inopportune times. So I implore you, if you're going through something, find someone to be, an ear, and try your best to deal with whatever it is that you're going through, because the longer you hold on to it, the worse it's going to get.
I'll just outright say it. Everybody needs therapy, especially, us as the black community.
Mm-hmm.
We need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may not agree with me. Some of you may even totally dislike what I'm saying, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're dealing with loss of loved ones. We're dealing with mental health, physical health, emotional health, and at this point, spiritual health.
Mm-hmm.
We need therapy. We're dealing with people getting killed right in front of our eyes. We're dealing with it to a time and place where it's okay to be sleeping around with and so forth, where you're trying to figure out how you're going to feed children, where your next source of income is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, it can get stressing and be overwhelmed, and at the same time, you have to uphold yourself. All right, and then unfortunately, we're the most hated race on this planet. That does something to us mentally. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
So and it can really be overbearing. So there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Sometimes the people who you want to help you, they can't help you. And it's not so much as like, oh, they can't, they have things to do. They don't have that profession. That's not their field or so forth. So don't get upset about it. I, reached out to some people who helped me, and then I've come to realize I needed help.
Right.
I needed help. I was actually on a path where I literally felt like I was dying, like killing myself slowly and surely. And I realized I can't keep feeling this way. So I went and started getting help. Definitely started feeling a lot better. I still am working on myself and so forth. But I strongly encourage men and women, black men, black women, get help. Like, seriously, like, get help, talk to someone, vent, or so forth. It's look for therapists.
And understand it's a work in progress. Like, it's not gonna, you're not gonna feel better tomorrow. It's gonna take time. All wounds eventually heal over time. So it's not gonna be, an immediate thing where you talk to somebody Tuesday and then Wednesday, you're back to, being on the right path.
Yeah, but it is a start though. It is a start recognizing and realizing that you need some form of help.
All right, well, that was, a little heavy opener, but I think it was something that we needed to discuss. So we'll be right back, and we're going to discuss something a little bit more lighter before we get into the final, more serious topic. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Hopefully everyone got the basic message of, the first segment, but I do want to get into something a little different with this segment here, sis. And the year's almost over. We're almost at 2020, and I want to talk about, little bit of a pre-New Year's resolution, that I have in my mind for myself. And I actually started mine already.
Is this New Year, New Me stuff?
No. I'm not doing the. Right. First of all, I'm not doing the old cliche. New Year, New Me. Yeah. Get out of here. No. But there's something that I started doing recently, fairly recently, and you and I have had this conversation.
Can I guess?
Sure. Go ahead and guess.
Okay. You got back into working out.
Besides that.
Okay, all right. Wait, you got back into working out without me?
Oh, jeez.
We'll talk later. No. Give me a hint.
No, well, you know what? I'll just come right out and say it. I have determined that I'm getting too old for this shit. And there are just certain things in life I'm not willing to deal with. And let me tell you what's at the top of the list of things I'm not willing to deal with. At the top of the list of things I'm not willing to deal with is other people's bullshit in 2020. I'm not doing it. Listen, man, you having a rough time, life kicking your ass, don't call me. I don't want no parts of it. And I know I just said, if you got something going on, call me and we can discuss. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about people who are legitimately going through life's issues. I'm talking about these dumb son bitches who continue to suffer from self-inflicted wounds. I don't want to hear that. Don't call me about that.
Like, yo, man, I can't do no marriage like that. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with this.
Hey, listen.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Listen, man, if you having marital problems, you better seek a marriage counselor. Don't call me, because I don't have nothing to do with that at all. I'm not getting involved in nobody domestic situations no more. I'm not breaking up relationships. I don't want to hear my boyfriend did this. I don't want to hear my girlfriend did that. I don't want to hear my husband acting like an asshole. I don't want to hear my wife treating me like crap. I don't want to hear it, man. I
definitely don't want to hear it if you were told several times that this person is absolute no good for you.
And if you on your and another thing, if you on your 6th job in 4 months, don't call me asking me for money, because I ain't got it. Matter of fact, I don't care if you on your first job of the year. Don't call. I don't have it, yo. I don't have it. I'm sorry. I got 6 kids, man. I got 6 kids. I got 1 in college. I got 1 on their way to college. I don't have it, man. I'm sorry. I don't have it.
You want to know what I can't stand? Like, seriously. This is from some. I can honestly say, even though, my coworkers from my previous job, the YMCA, thought, I was never there, whatever. I honestly say I'm a very good, darn hard worker. Like, I work my butt off. Stop laughing.
You do work your butt off.
So this is what I can't stand.
When you work.
Shut if I work. Anyway.
Go ahead.
What I don't like is, and feel me on this one, I get a phone call or I get messages. What's your schedule looking like? What are you doing? Where are you at right now? I don't like that. Not one freaking bit. Because depending on, and I'll tell you, I'll be quick to tell you, it depends.
Wait. Are you in your no cursing mode again?
Who's all gonna hear this?
Everybody.
Okay, yeah, then I ain't in my no cursing mode.
Okay.
I'm trying. We're not doing Naomi's curse bingo tonight.
Go ahead.
I ain't good here.
Go ahead.
It's like, I feel like, don't do that. If you need something, don't ask me what my schedule is. Don't try to figure out what my schedule is so you can try to fit into that schedule. Just outright say what it is that you need. And then I'll be able to tell you if I'm able to do it or not. Because then it's like, I'm telling you what my schedule, like, honestly, my sister does that. Okay? Sometimes even my own dude does that, so forth or whatever. No. Hey, listen. Are you busy tomorrow? I need someone to go pick up such and such. Or are you able to come do my hair? It's either a yes or a no. And you can just take that and leave it. Some people actually get offended by it. But one of my 2020 resolutions is to learn to start saying no. More.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
I'm actually about to, sometimes, you just got to put that F. No. You just got to put that F-bomb in front of that no. Let them know you mean business.
Well, I done told you for a while that you need to learn how to tell people no. And my thing is, first of all, don't be clocking my schedule, because on my day off, I might want to take a trip to, I don't know, Bumblechuck, Pennsylvania, get butt naked and sit under somebody's blanket. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what I'm going to do, but don't ask me what I got going on, because I might give you a sarcastic answer. And if you didn't understand me the first time, I'm going to say it again. Don't ask me for no damn money. Not $5, not 50 cents, not $20, not bro, can I hold this? I'll pay you back when I get paid. Especially you some bitches who been getting paid for a minute, then borrowing money from me, and you still owe me. Because if I was keeping tabs like a damn loan shark, some of y'all would owe me some tax return money by the time February, March hit. But I ain't gonna listen. Here's my motto for 2020. I ain't got it. All right, we clear? Thank you.
My motto is, all right, I'm going to head out. All right, I'm going to head out. Oh, you need somebody to work? Mandatory overtime? Oh, I'm all right, I'm going to head out.
Get your ass on out of here, man. Just begging ass with your hands looking like you got arthritis. Don't ask me, cuz. See, now I'm trying not to curse because you. I'm sorry, I ain't as saved as she is.
Wait,
don't ask me for shit.
Oh yeah, I'm saved. Yeah.
Don't ask me for shit because I ain't got it. I'm sorry. You can wear the halo tonight. I'll wear the horns gladly. Don't ask me for shit.
And equivalent to like with everything that's going on in your life, right? Try to be more courteous. Mm-hmm. Like for example, people look at me weird now. When people
ask, be courteous.
Be courteous. Here's what I mean by be courteous.
Hold on. You're right. I'm gonna be courteous. Please.
No.
Don't ask me for shit.
No. Like for example.
You said be courteous. I was courteous.
So nowadays people ask me, what's wrong? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, how am I feeling? So forth, right? I could be going through a lot, like a whole lot. But before I even open my mouth to tell that person what I'm going through, I've learned to ask him this question. Do you have the mental space for me right now? Because you can be going through trials and tribulations yourself. And there is no way I want to inflict what I'm going through on you. That just wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be fair to me. That wouldn't be fair to you at all. So if you're going through things or even hint that you're going through things, I'm not going to want to share with you. You're not a therapist. You're not there for me. It's one thing to be there for somebody, to be there for your friend, but I'm gonna downright ask it. Do you have the mental space for me? Because it's like if you're going through things, then no, I'm not going to share because for all I know, that your problems and your issues could be greater.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know that. And honestly, I'm going to share something deep with you guys. Like, that's serious. So, I had this old coworker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was always there for this coworker.
Right.
A lot of times, rather money, helping them, with certain situations and so forth. Just being there for them.
Hold on, I'd just like to say for the record, you are officially a much better person than I am now.
Shut up. I'm no longer that person. So, but the thing is, whenever I needed that person, even just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
it was always an excuse or a reason. The ultimate kicker was a few years ago, I had gotten pregnant. And, I was excited. I was nervous. I said, you know what? I really want to start trying to save money, put aside, and so forth. Mm-hmm. And I actually shared with this coworker, that I was pregnant. And, that was happiness and so forth. Unfortunately, baby didn't make it. I'm a lot better than how I was before. Mm-hmm. I never told anybody. I wasn't ready to tell anybody. I actually shut myself off in this bubble and so forth. And no call, no text to see how I was doing or how the baby was doing. Instead, the first text message I get from this person, literally, and I quote, "Red, I guess you don't know how to hit nobody up. Sees how you pregnant and you got a man now."
Well, listen, but I remember me and you having a conversation about that, and I told you have to understand, like, unfortunately, and this is why my mindset going into next year is I don't want nobody asking me for a damn thing, because people, unfortunately, can be leeches sometimes. Mm-hmm. They can be point blank leeches.
It's like
they will,
safety net.
like they will, they will suck you and dry. You understand what I'm saying? They will bleed you out. But if you ever needed them for anything, I can't help you. They got 565 excuses. Oh, no, I'm busy. I don't have to, listen. I'm at a point where I realize, friends come a dime a dozen. And I know that sounds hard to understand, but friends come a dime a dozen. Because at this point in my life, I'm not looking for people to be, quote unquote, friends towards me. We get to know each other long enough. We family. Ain't no more friends. It's like we become family at that point. And I want. Now you obviously know, you and my, friendship with each other and
friendship.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
You're my friend.
It's gone, it's going through its whatevers. But at the end of the day, I think beyond a shadow of a doubt that I got your back, you got my back. So when I'm saying, don't ask me for shit, obviously that's not attributed towards you, because I know if I need you, I know you're gonna have my back. This is for you leech ass bastards out here who you ain't got the time to get your shit right. So you want me to have my shit right so I can prop your ass up. And I promise you, sis, there's going to be another time where we sit down and do one of these and I go, a little deeper into why I feel that way. And I know we talked about it personally, but, as far as making it public, I'm definitely going to make that public.
Do we have to wait to make it public?
No, we're not going to do that right now. We're not going to do it right now. Because see, we can't give them everything all at once. You understand? It's like Thanksgiving dinner right now. We're going to put a little bit on your plate so you can come back and get a little bit more on your plate.
A little on your plate?
That's right.
What kind of Thanksgiving dinner
No. So you put everything on your plate when you make your plate?
Man, stop.
No. You put everything on your plate? So you got room for a slice of pie on your plate with your food?
I don't eat pie.
You don't eat pie?
I don't eat no kind of pie.
What kind?
I mean, if it's chicken pot pie, yeah.
What kind of a monster are you? You don't eat pie?
Ew.
You don't eat apple pie?
Ew. Cooked
fruit pie?
Disgusting.
You say cooked fruit?
Ew.
You don't eat, not even pumpkin pie. Not even sweet potato pie.
I hate sweet potatoes.
You hate sweet potatoes. So when this thing, you don't eat sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving dinner?
No, I hate it.
You.
I don't eat yams. I don't eat ham. I don't eat pork. I don't eat scrapple. I don't eat peach cobbler. I don't eat any kind of pie. I don't eat pineapple upside down cake. I hate cheesecake. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. I like collard greens. I like spinach. Now, if you give me a vanilla cake, yeah, I'll eat it. Ice cream, it has to be Haagen-Dazs. Otherwise, I don't want that crap.
What kind of hoity-toity? I only eat Haagen-Dazs.
Yes.
Like if you don't get
first off,
you get your ice cream snob self on out here. I only eat Haagen-Dazs.
He doesn't understand Haagen-Dazs. Remember that year, that 4th of July, where I was making homemade ice cream? Yeah, you remember.
You know why I'm laughing, right? I'm laughing because that's the year you went to camp and I told you was getting ready for Jedediah, wasn't it?
So, for those who probably seen it or haven't seen it, there's a video on Facebook. I went to my Aunt Karen's house for the 4th of July with my family. My dad gets this actual ice cream maker. If you ain't got no type of strength in your arms or no upper body strength, this ice cream maker was not for you. So, my niece and nephews, we all took turns
cranking that ice cream
turning it. So they recorded me like really turning it. I was turning it for a good minute. So my brother here, because I go to camp every year out in Lancaster, or for some known as Amish country. Kirby here likes to say I have butter turning in.
Yep.
Saying that I'm getting ready for Obadiah.
Yep.
Shut up.
But anyway, listen. I'm glad we have fun in this segment right here. It's about to turn serious again. So you guys sit tight. We'll be right back. All right. So I have no idea what's going on with the recording of our bumper music. I'm looking at the thing. I don't see no line, so I can't promise that the bumper music is going to be there. Don't worry about it if it is or it isn't, because I'm going to edit this thing regardless. But you said you wanted to talk about how, I think men in particular, but just how people deal with rejection. And today, I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across this really, really disturbing story. Chicago college student raped and strangled to death after ignoring man's catcalls. This is straight from the internet. A Chicago college student is dead after ignoring a man's catcalls. Police say David Thurman followed Ruth George into a University of Illinois at Chicago parking garage around 1:35 a.m. Saturday after he called out to her and she ignored him. Now, this is being reported by CBS News. The 19-year-old's body was found later that day after her family contacted police when they hadn't heard from her since the night before. The campus police tracked her phone, found her unresponsive in the back seat of her family's vehicle. After reviewing the surveillance footage, police said the 26-year-old man could be seen walking behind this young lady. He followed her down the block and into the parking garage. He was taken into the custody of police this past Sunday after detectives tracked his travel patterns, found him near a Blue Line train station, and he gave a full confession. This is just sickening, and it's sad. I mean, there are plenty of females out here who will be responsive to, whatever kind of attention you give them. And I mean, I've seen guys be wholly disrespectful, in my eyes. You understand, with the approach. You understand what I'm saying? And I've seen a female give a positive reaction to that. And even like smiling and laughing and giggling about it, hey bitch, what's up? You know, what's
That's
that?
that's that's, that's sick.
What's that? So in my mind, I'm thinking, when seeing it, this female has no self-respect. So my point is, there are females for almost every type of male out there. If you're a nerd, there are females who love nerds. If you're an intellectual, there are females that love intellectuals.
Or if you like giving away
You know,
$40.
if if you're if that's what you into, if you into tricking off, it's females that love guys that trick off. If you are a mild mannered, dedicated man, it's women who are into that. So there is someone out there for every type of male there is. I don't understand the mindset to get so riled up and upset. And I'm not even talking about going to the extreme of murder. But I'm talking about to the extreme of guys, hey, yo, Ma, can I talk to you real quick? No, I gotta do, well, fuck you then, bitch. Like that type mindset. I don't get it. And again, uh, forgive me for, the language, but it's just what I see, on a somewhat semi-regular basis. That mindset of you can't handle being told I'm good. Now, as a guy, yeah, I've been rejected before. I've been told, nah, I'm cool. Nah, you a little too young for me. Nah, you a little too old for me. You understand? So you take that on the chin. This mindset of having to be nasty.
I feel like I call this, when guys get rejected or they respond like that. I sort of kind of call it the Gaston mindset, the
Mm-hmm.
Gaston effect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who've never seen Disney or never seen Beauty and the Beast, or who have seen Beauty and the Beast, Gaston was the villain. But if y'all can recall, back in the beginning, he was cocky, he was conceited, selfish, inconsiderate. He thought that he could pull any female in the village.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be rejected by Belle, like, what? You rejected me? I do all this hunting and stuff. You're gonna reject me? And then he actually says, I'll have her for my wife. Make no mistake about that.
Mm-hmm.
This man was to the foreigner deaths as pretty much kidnapping her father and throwing him to asylum in order to get her to marry him. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's what a lot of guys are. I feel like y'all are so, and the thing is, sometimes you have some dudes who are so used to, as they call it, pulling chicks, pulling females, or they think they can pull chicks, sweet charm or sweet talk them. So when you get rejected by that one female or that one female you're not used to, you ready to blow up. Mm-hmm. No, like I was just sitting there telling my brother about a situation where a guy, he's hitting me up. And the thing is, what annoyed me even more was, you're hitting me up on Thursday, Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. I'm with my family. Mm-hmm. I don't know the type of females you're into, but I'm not one of them. Like how you've approached me, how you've been approaching me is just completely all wrong. Like, I'm not interested. But then you get upset and you blow up. Now, I'm not mad or I'm not upset or so forth. But it just gets me because it's like I really think a lot of men out there that really think they can pull, they have this mindset where they think they can get any chick or every chick that they want. Mm-hmm. But then when it comes time where that one female or whatever tells them, no, thank you, you're not my type. Don't be persistent. Keep it moving. She just said no, thank you. Mm-hmm. Stop being persistent because nowadays that lovely little H word is getting real heavy. And actually, give you another example. The previous job that I just worked at, well, actually, it's the new job that I had just started that I resigned from. Shut up.
I say nothing.
So it was me and one other female employee there. Mm-hmm. She was younger than me. She was 18. So I come into work one day. She tells me, hey, the such and such that I was just talking to yesterday, how we were having the conversation about the cars. I said, yeah. Remember when I was saying that Q7 was biggest-ish? I said, yeah, I remember that. She says, well, how about such and such send me a text message saying, yo, you want to hop in the back of this Q7 with me right quick? What? Q7 is an Audi
I
vehicle.
know what a Q7 is.
Like, dude, what type of females are you into that you feel as though that you're that comfortable to approach somebody like that?
Now, see, but let me explain something to you. Where that comes from is that comes from getting a positive reaction from a female who is into stuff like
Well,
that.
do me a grand favor, females. Even if you are into it, stop giving positive reactions. That's not cute.
No. See, but that's the thing. See, I want to like one thing I like when we have conversations is, I like to try and give you the understanding of the male mindset. You understand what I'm saying? And a big thing as far as males are concerned is it's just like having dice. You understand? It's just like being at the crap table playing craps. And you roll that dice out there and boom, it come up your number. So you take the dice and you roll that number, you roll it again. Boom, it comes up your number. Because once it happens and you get into a groove of it, your mindset isn't, all right, well, let me try a different approach with this female. You're going to stick to what was working. If that ignorant, disrespectful mode got you somewhere with a female, whether it got you her phone number or whether you got in her pants, whatever the case may be, if that worked for you, you're going to ride that mode out until you get told no. Now, my problem with that is, okay, once you get told no, you have two choices. Choice number one stays the same. You have to accept that you were told no.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next step is you have to determine whether or not to continue that approach and see if it works with other females or switch up your approach. But regardless of what your approach from then on is, that female that you just approached that told you no, like this ain't Family Matters, my dude. You ain't Steve Urkel. You ain't pulling Laura Winslow after she done told you no 3,000 times. Accept the no and move on. Guys with that mindset of maybe if I'm more persistent, she'll say yes. I don't understand that. Like, accept it for what it is and keep it moving. This catcalling and yelling out nasty things back in response and jumping in people's inboxes and DMs and getting nasty, through social media. And then even the extreme example of this situation in Chicago where a young lady is deceased now because a man couldn't handle being told no. I think those be them overindulged, nobody ever told you no before type person.
Like, who raised you for the muckers?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand it. And it's like I saw it and, as a man with, females out here in this world I care about enough to, say they're sisterly towards me. And as a father with two daughters, that type of attitude, from these men scares the hell out of me. Because I don't want to get that phone call, that someone did something to someone I care about because that person was told get out of here. Or just like and yeah, I know some females can be real, nasty with rejection from time to time. Especially if you're, guy number 5 in the last 20 minutes with your approach. Hey, sis, ooh, hey, ma, let me. Now it's like, all right, now I didn't have to tell this one, that one, and that one. I don't want to be bothered. Now here you come. And you might not have saw me deal with those before you got here, but at some point I can understand where that gets to be nerve-wracking. Like, yo, my man, back up off me. Give me some space. And I told you this a long time ago. I am so glad I'm not a female. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that aspect of being a female. Because one thing I will say, I say that, you know, it's a great thing to be a woman. But there are some aspects of being a woman that I look at and say, oh, hell no.
There are aspects of being a woman where even I say, oh, hell no. What?
Well, no, I get it. Because, you know, like being approached by knuckleheads would really,
I want to go where you going.
With yo, you know what? Let me explain something to you. Listen, it was some years ago. I was coming home from work. I was on the 15, and I'm at the back. It was a bus because, you know, 15. We're in Philadelphia, so those of you who live in Philadelphia, you know, the 15 is a trolley now, but there was a period of time where they were fixing the track, so the 15 was a bus. Mm-hmm. So I'm on the back of the bus, and there is this attractive female just sitting there minding her own business, and she looked like she was having a bad day. She looked like she just had this face like, you know, next person approach me wrong, it's going to be a problem, right? And the guy gets on the bus, and she wasn't paying him no mind, and he sits across from her. So it's like, you know, the back of the bus has the long bench, and there's two sides. Now, I'm on the long bench. She's on one side, he's on the other side. And as soon as he sits down, he taps her on the leg. Ooh, hey, baby, how you doing today? I'm all right. You know, you sexy like milk chocolate. Why don't you break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar?
Wait, he got that far?
Yeah. Because you have to understand. Even when he tapped her leg, you understand what I'm saying?
Her mind is gone.
But he didn't like come right out with it. You know, he came right out with it after she said, you know, after she verbally responded to him. And she proceeded to read my man for like 3 good minutes on this ride. And to the point where my man just got up and moved and switched seats. Like he didn't say anything back, but she was just like, you know, all right, I gotta break it again. She just looked at him and said, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you think that was the thing to say to me? Why would you think that was going to get you in with me? She said, you have no idea what I've been going through today. You could have been a gentleman, approached me the right way, and I might have let you come home with me. But you gonna come at me with this dumb ass Kit Kat line. Like, what are you, fucking 12? Like, who says that? Like, yo, like, why would you even think that type of line would work with any female? Like, what female told you okay after you said a line like that? Do me a favor. Just get up out my face. Don't say nothing else to me. And then she sat back in the chair and had that steaming mad black woman look with her arms folded and her mouth was moving, but you couldn't hear nothing she was saying. And I know she was calling him all sorts of dumb some bitches under her breath. And it's like, you know, it was only like her, him, me, and the guy sitting near me who heard that whole exchange. So it wasn't like the whole entire bus was in on that. But it was still like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, and the fact that it's guys out there that think that kind of approach to a female is gonna work. Like, y'all gotta do better, man.
I've actually had a guy tell me we should cuddle one day.
You should cuddle one day.
We should freaking cuddle one day.
You should cuddle one day.
Are you kidding me?
You should cut him one day?
I actually said I should cut you one day in my mind. I said, I can't send them a message because, you know, I said it's the police.
Well, I was watching one of our old shows the other day. I don't know, like you. Oh boy.
What?
You
going soft?
Wow.
Wait.
Yo. The approach that guys take with you sometimes.
And I'm just like,
man.
Yo, are you freaking kidding?
I'm sorry. I'm breaking it again. I'm using the big one now, yo. You have motherfuckers writing you poetry and they never even
you never even knew me. And the thing is, I've actually shown the poem to my brother.
Showed it to me.
I read it. He read it. And my brother, all he could do is just sit there, shake his head. It's like, what'd you do?
You did something.
He said, did you date them? I said, I never dated this guy. No, we never even worked together. We literally actually just worked on the same campus. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, well, I never had to relieve this guy.
Your aura did something.
I ain't do nothing. Could it be because he was African? Yeah, I said it.
No, yeah. let's not do that. Given your history, let's not do that.
Yeah.
All right, listen, everybody. This show has pretty much reached its end. Glad you guys could listen. I don't really have anything outro to say, as far as anything like. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't have anything eloquent to say.
Men, take better care of yourselves, mentally and so forth. Ladies, take better care of yourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. For a lot of you ladies, y'all gonna make a name for yourselves one day. Just let it be a positive.
Oh yeah, you know what? I have one eloquent thing to say. Just in closing and recap. Don't ask me for shit.
Any announcements?
No, I don't have any announcements.
Well, I do. So for those,
what's your announcement?
For those who probably don't remember, back in November I did compete in the poetry slam at the Philly Pigeon. So they have this event on the first Friday of each month. So this Friday, December 6th, I will be competing again at this poetry slam. I love doing it. It's not so much as just about winning. I love poetry. I love writing. It's been years since I've actually performed in front of people. It's been months since I've written. So I'm just slowly getting back into it. So definitely, hit me up for some more info. But just come out, some support. If you want to compete, definitely come out. And, just come feel the love and enjoy yourselves.
All right, well, you can kind of hear the background. I got to do some daddy stuff right now. We'll talk off the air about this thing you have coming up on Friday. But in case you didn't hear me the first time when I said it, don't ask me for shit because I ain't got it. Since we out of here, this was fun.
Right. Peace. Later.
I can't wait to do this again with you. To everybody out there listening, thank you for tuning in to the Kirby and Blue podcast.
And tune in to more.
Love you guys very much.
I love me.
See you later.